I love that the same manufacturer that builds reliable modes of transportation that's comfortable and high-end also builds things like this. I used to own a Lexus ISF, a 5-liter V8 monster, and this LC500, also a 5-liter V8, is one of my all-time favorite cars. This is a seriously good-looking car, almost resembling the concept car that was initially built. I wish more car companies would stick to their concept design and make it their actual production car. This LC500 is such a good example. Ordinarily, it would be surprising that Lexus would have built something like this, but knowing that they came out with the LFA and the ISF, this LC500 seems like a natural next step. Lexus went a little bit crazy with the design, but in a good way. The design of the taillight is particularly unique with 2 sharp wedges, one going in each direction. The headlights have a similar styling to the taillights with the angular shapes and this vertical piece going downwards. And normally with Lexuses, I hate the front grills, how big it is, but on this car, they managed to pull it off. The design of the tailpipes could have been better if they actually exposed the quad exhaust that's actually hidden underneath. What I think was really cool with the way they designed the car is it angles upwards towards the middle and then it slopes back down. Not having it leveled and flat all the way across gives it an even edgier look. Everything about this car looks like it's slicing through air, including this air vent right here, right next to the door panel. These wheels are huge, but they fit perfectly with this 5-liter V8 machine. Technically, this car is not an exotic supercar, but you might as well put this in that category just because of the way it looks. This has a 5-liter V8, just like I did with my ISF back in the day, but this car is way cooler and also more powerful. 471 horsepower, 398 pound-feet of torque, definitely no slouch. This trunk is laughably small. There's really not much you can fit in here at all. It's mostly for show. This is a pretty small trunk panel lid. Feels a little odd given the size of the car. Similar story with the back seats. Just because they exist doesn't mean you can do anything with them. If you had a really small driver, you could find a way to squeeze back here, but even then I think you'd hate your life. Even for small kids, being back here is worse than being in prison. If you really dislike somebody, just put them back here and push your driver's seat back. For the driver though, this is a really great place to be. Very nicely appointed cabin, perfect driving seating position. There's a lot to like about this car when you get inside it because it just feels unique. The door panel is pretty heavy and big, so you have to be careful where you park because it needs to swing pretty far wide open. The center console area is pretty wide, so you have a good amount of distance between the passenger and yourself. Because the LC500 is a pretty big car. There's only one cup holder in here though, so you and the passenger have to fight for it. And the only thing that can fit in here is the vitamin water. Only for one of you though. And the center console design is a little strange with this button, because if you have nails at all, you're gonna scratch up the edge of this like you see it here. So over time, it's gonna be easy to destroy this whole piece right here. Overall, the layout in the interior and the dash area is pretty simple, minimalist, with a nice overall style. This dash gauge cluster is my favorite. I love the way that they designed it, especially how this thing can move. So if you push this button, it moves the gauge cluster over, and then you have access to another set of menus, and this is acronym heaven. You have LKA, PCS, BSM, and fortunately it tells you what those mean. So if you click into PCS, pre-collision system, so you got a few different features on here. But then moving this thing back and forth is what I'm having the most fun with. Sport S Plus is the coolest layout with this white and red mixed together. The display in here is easy to use, it's clean, it's simple. It's got a touchpad which you have to use kind of like a mouse to move things around, and it has a little bit of haptic feedback. This is an interesting spot to put the sport, normal, and comfort modes. The steering wheel is nice with nice feeling paddle shifters. Everything's very clean and well laid out, and you get the sense that the driver can focus and is isolated from the passenger, because there's this barrier between you and the passenger, which I really like. I give Lexus a thumbs up for that. Because you know, if I'm gonna floor this thing, I need to concentrate. And as a passenger, you have this handle to grab tightly onto because you're gonna need to do that with that V8. One quirk of this car is it won't go into drive if you just push it down. You have to push it to the left and then go into drive for this to activate. A little strange. Whenever you have a 471 horsepower V8 that's powering a machine, you can't really complain much about it because you have the V8 noise and you have that power, you have all of that low-end torque, 398 pound-feet of torque, and all of that in a Lexus. Even though I've owned the Lexus ISF, a V8 Lexus is still just cool. Man, that screams. So loud at the higher RPMs. The handling's not that bad at all, but you do feel the weight of the car. It's 4,300 pounds. It's a pretty big, sizable car. And with a car like this, you're just more interested in the V8 and the noise and flooring it. If you're looking for extreme handling prowess and precision, there are better cars out there. But for the average, ordinary driver, this car is perfectly fine. It's a sporty ride, and with the Sport Plus setting, it definitely stiffens up even more. But in comfort mode, things are quite a bit better. Very fast shifting, 10-speed automatic. And when you punch it, you do lose a lot of that rear traction. It's just got so much torque, so you need really good tires to hold on to it. And when you take that combination of the power, the speed, the looks, the exotic appeal of it, this car is unique in its own right. In most cars, normally they get the heads-up display wrong, but this one, it's like perfectly situated, right at eye level. I think they did such a good job of making sure that the driving seating position of this car is as good as it can be. This is how it sounds with the windows rolled down. If it wasn't 400 degrees outside, I would be driving with my windows rolled down. This car reminds me of why I love my ISF so much. The unique combination of the V8, the sound, the power. The LC500 is all of that and so much more, and it's got exotic written all over it. This truly is a driver's car, and the LC500 delivers on everything that it promises. This one, in my mind, is the one to buy because it looks absolutely amazing. It's rare, nobody has one. It's got an amazing V8, and it's a Lexus, which means you get that Lexus reliability along with this car. So what more could you ask for?